What's going on, guys? It's the Friendly Weirdo here. I am back after a bit of a hiatus because I wasn't feeling well and school starting up again. But I am here to do some NXT TakeOver Phoenix predictions. We got 5 matches to look at and 5 matches to predict. Let's get to it. So first, we have Tommaso Ciampa taking on Aleister Black in an NXT title match. So this is Aleister Black's rematch after he lost the title to Aleister Black lost the title to Tommaso Ciampa. Then Gargano attacked him, rendering him unable to compete. And then Black beat Gargano in a steel cage match, and now he has this match coming up. I feel like Aleister Black is pretty much done with NXT, or at least in the world top picture, because I honestly don't see what else he can do. Because I don't think he really has anything to do at the moment, because everything else is just taken, and there's a lot of other talent that they're trying to build up. So I'm gonna predict Tommaso Ciampa is gonna retain his championship. Will there be chicanery? Probably, and I'm 100% sure it's going to be from Johnny Gargano, but we will get to him in a bit. Up next is the NXT Women's title matches. Shayna Baszler defends her title against one of my favorite NXT women's stars, Bianca Belair. Now, I love Bianca Belair. I think she's great. And Shayna Baszler, she's held on to that title for a while, despite her losing it shortly to Kairi Sane. But I believe that Bianca Belair will take the title, because I think they might want to start building towards some new women, and there might be that 4 horsewomen thing they're planning on doing, so they might want to get her on the main roster as quick as possible to kind of establish her for the mainstream audience that the WWE has, because the WWE audience is less smarky than the NXT audience. So, yep, Bianca Belair is my pick, and I honestly hope that when she does win, if she does, her first feud is going to be with Dakota Kai, because I love Dakota Kai too. She's great, and those two can make some magic together in a title feud. So up next is the Undisputed Era of Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong taking on the War Raiders of Hanson and Rowe. I've noticed a lot of disinterest in the War Raiders as of late, and they haven't really done much of anything. Like, I honestly don't blame people for losing interest in them. Like, I have a friend who personally isn't really interested in the War Raiders, just kind of because they were thrust into like feuding with the Undisputed Era. Like, basically the minute they arrived on NXT, they attacked the Undisputed Era. But I've seen some of what Hanson and Rowe can do, and I'm impressed, and I would want to see them as tag champs. In fact, I do predict that the War Raiders will win, because I think the Undisputed Era has held the titles long enough, and they really don't need to keep the titles to like be a popular act in NXT, because they already have the crowd eating out of the palm of their hands with whatever they do. So there you go. Up next is my personal pick for match of the night, Ricochet versus Johnny Gargano. I actually have the story for this one. So Johnny Gargano, basically he started his heel turn after it was revealed that he attacked Aleister Black. And then he comes out and challenges Ricochet for the North American title, after Tommaso basically tells Gargano that if he wins the North American title, he as the NXT champion and Gargano can rule NXT. So Gargano kind of basically does that and like just attacks Ricochet with a super kick. And apparently he and Tommaso attacked Aleister Black and Ricochet on an episode of NXT. So I am going with Johnny Gargano to win, because Gargano has lost a lot of pay-per-view or show matches, big show matches. Like, he lost twice to Ciampa. He lost to Aleister Black. It's like, he has to have a win, like a big momentum building win, or else people are just going to really stop caring. And that's not really something you want to do when you're positioning him as one of your top guys. Like, I'm surprised, honestly, that he never got the North American the NXT Championship, considering how popular he was. Like, I remember when I saw TakeOver with he and Ciampa facing for the first time, the entire crowd had his, like, weird blinking face symbol as, like, a sign, and it was just kind of awe-inspiring, because I don't think I ever saw a babyface with that much of reaction since Daniel Bryan. So I hope they don't squander this, and I know it's rare for NXT to squander talent, but they did it to EC3, and they're kind of doing it with Keith Lee, honestly, because he hasn't really been doing much of anything, as far as I know. But yeah, Gargano is my pick, because he can use the momentum and Ricochet. He can do stuff without it. And the final match is Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno. These two have been having a feud since the last TakeOver special where Matt Riddle beat Cassius in 7 seconds. It's all pretty obvious Matt Riddle's gonna win. Like, Cassius Ohno is basically the guy that new guys go through. He's like Dolph Ziggler, basically. He's a Lars Sullivan beat Ohno, Velveteen Dream beat Ohno. Like, the only the only new guy I can think of that didn't beat Cassius Ohno recently was like Kona Reeves, who I think is kind of underrated. Like, I think people didn't really give him a chance to shine, which I think he could have done. But that's another topic for another time. Anyway, yep, Matt Riddle is going to win, and he's gonna hopefully ride this momentum. And apparently, he's really popular from what I've seen, so they'd be crazy not to ride this momentum for all it's worth. But if they do have Cassius Ohno beat Matt Riddle, that would be really interesting, because he's got this whole thing with the new guys. Like, I think has a bit of an issue with Keith Lee as well. But that, I don't think that's really amounted to much. So hopefully that can be a match as well for a future TakeOver event. Maybe for the TakeOver before Mania. Well, those were my TakeOver predictions. And I will see you guys tomorrow for my Royal Rumble predictions. Or actually, not tomorrow. It's later today, actually, because it's like 1:30 at the time I'm recording this. But you get what I mean. And I am signing off.